Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever, the pilot episode of the Scoreboard Sports Talk show. I'm not doing this by myself, but we've got a packed show. First of all, let me present who I got with me, though. You can introduce yourself because you are a man of character, so let us know who you are, what's your name, and what do you do?
I like to think I am. I am Larry Smokey Rameriz Cowan, but for the purposes of this, you can just call me Smokey.
And you're here to discuss sports with me today.
We are. That is exactly what we're doing.
But I'm going to give you like a minute to plug and present yourself a little bit. So you are also a YouTube personality outside of this show. So what do you usually do?
I am one half of the Trash Talkers. We are at Trash Talk, actually youtube.com/Hollywood6. That's the number 6IX. Hollywood 6. And we run podcasts, reactions, videos. I don't really know how to describe it other than that, but check us out.
They got a funny channel. It's entertainment for sure. That's how I would describe it. So I'm gonna link it. I'm gonna link it in the description so people who are watching Beyond Football, go check it out. Smokey does know his stuff about sports. That's why I invited him to join me. And we've been working with these guys, and it's been super fun. So definitely go check out what they're doing.
Yes. I'm a lifelong sports fan. Mainly, my expertise recently has been in the NFL and football. I do follow college. I follow the NFL extensively. I've spent the last 5 years basically studying the NFL. And
that's perfect because that's exactly what I've been doing as well.
Nice.
So we got our topics.
Yes.
That's what my channel is centered around. But we are currently let's get into it. We'll hop into what we're talking about. So we got 5 topics. You can see them on the screen. We are currently in kind of a slump. That's kind of always how it works between the NBA season and the NFL season. You don't have much, and baseball isn't really an everyday thing for a lot of people. So it's talking season because it's the absolute dog days of the NFL season. Mini camps are over, and we're just waiting for training camp to happen and something interesting to happen.
Yeah,
we're gonna do predictions. What are you saying?
Oh, the NFL is kind of in the dark period right now, so it's really good to get some NFL talk out there for the people that, like me, that are fiending for NFL news and notes and just anything that can give us that fix for the NFL.
Yeah, for sure. For months now, I've been just struggling to find a video topic, and I haven't really been uploading, so I think this is a great idea. We're going to start off looking at the NFL, like we said, and we're going to predict the division winners and the wildcard spots, so basically the playoff bracket. It's obviously a very early prediction. We haven't gone through all of the free agent signings and training camp and preseason, but going off of what we've seen, going off of what we expect from teams going into the season, having had some time to evaluate the draft, let's start in the AFC, and let's start with the AFC East. So, Smokey, what is your call on the AFC East?
Well, of course, it's the perennial winners, like always. You can't really, until there's a viable opponent in this division, you can't overlook the Patriots. I mean, it's almost... What are we going on? Almost 2 decades of dominance for the Patriots. Yeah. And, is there really any other answer than the Patriots?
I don't think there's any other answer than the Patriots as long as a man by the name of Bill Belichick is the head coach of that football team. Unless, and I've said this before, the AFC East has 3 of the best quarterbacks to come out of college now in the division in the last year. Specifically, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and Josh Rosen. Those are my top 3 guys aside of Baker Mayfield when they came out last year. Talent-wise, on quarterback, that division is packed. But here's what happens when a team like the Jets, the Bills, and to a degree the Dolphins also doesn't have a quarterback set up, and they just keep drafting quarterbacks. You've seen this with the Browns. They keep drafting quarterbacks because that's a central piece. That's what you have to have. First thing. Once you do that, second year, teams start getting radically better. The Jets are going to be radically better this year than they were last year because they had a full offseason without worrying about a quarterback. Bills, the same thing. Now, Dolphins, I think they kind of lucked out in the draft rate. I think they made a major steal with Josh Rosen. I think he's better than Kyler Murray, and I think they got pretty much the. I think, like I said this, I said the Dolphins got the best quarterback available this offseason. I'll take Rosen over Nick Foles. I'll take him over Kyler Murray. So I think they're all looking for a good future. I'm going to stay with you, and I'm going to pick the Patriots because I've seen Bill Belichick hold Sean McVay's offense, the Rams, to 3 points in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I've seen him do it several times before. I don't see how anyone is going to outsmart him. So far, I have not seen anything off that. Now, I will say this division to me is one of the divisions of the future. And in the future, the Patriots are going to be the one team who's going to be a step behind as soon as those veteran coaches and players kind of start dropping off, which will inevitably happen. But this season, even though specifically the Jets should be stronger, to me, I'm picking the Patriots as well.
You know, I agree with you. I see Josh Allen as a future superstar in this league. You know, he's not only, he's a true dual threat quarterback, and I didn't see that coming from him coming out of college.
Neither did I. When I was scouting him, I compared him to Ben Roethlisberger, and then he put like 3 back-to-back performances with 100 yards on the ground, and I'm like, what happened there?
Yeah, so he almost turned out to be Cam Newton, but with a better arm.
Right, yeah. I'm a big Sam Darnold fan as well. He was my highest-ranked quarterback since Andrew Luck coming out of college last year. I think the Jets made the steal of the draft there.
I agree.
But you got to build around him.
I wasn't quite as high on Sam Darnold, but after this first season and seeing what he could do toward the end of the season, I agree with you. Sam Darnold is going to be great.
Now you got to build around a guy like Darnold, though. Like this is the problem where you don't want him to be the next Aaron Rodgers, and I don't mean that in this. Like you want him to be as good as Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but you don't want him to be in the Aaron Rodgers situation where you're a transcendental player, the best quarterback in the NFL, arguably, and you're always on a below average to average team,
and you can't put a team
carrying
that
team to being above average. So
their O-line is horrid.
Yeah, it's not good. It's one of the bottom O-lines in the league. I think they've done some good things in the draft. They've strengthened up on defense. They signed Le'Veon Bell. They put some support around their guy, and I believe if he's in the right situation, he's gonna be fantastic. He's got all the credentials. I've done extensive research on him last year, and I'm still convinced that this is possible for the Jets. And this is gonna be kind of the first season where he gets to show a little bit of what he can do with his skill set. But let's hop into the next division. Let's go with the AFC North. And I'm going to go first here because I want to drop the bombshell first. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, I said it. The Cleveland Browns.
That's exactly who I have. I mean, we're going to
talk about
it. Almost seems like a trendy pick right now, of course. Because
I know.
After the last season they had, coming off that huge losing streak they had. And Baker Mayfield seems like the truth. He seems like the chosen man. He's the savior over there.
In looking at Baker Mayfield potentially in 1 or 2 years being the best quarterback in that division, other than that, even disregarding that position, the Browns are stacked. Top 10 defense, Odell Beckham, Kareem Hunt in the building, Jarvis Landry.
Yes.
The offensive line is great.
You can't leave out Antonio Callaway either. I mean, he's going to be a great slot for them, or not even slot, but on the other side.
And I think Baker is in a really good situation there, and he can really make stuff happen. He's got the talent around him to elevate his game as he's gaining experience, and I do very much believe in the Browns. I did not. I'm going to have to retract something here. I did not do that at all. After last year's draft, I was making fun of the Browns, like publicly.
Yeah.
For being the Cleveland Clowns, as they were for a long time. I think they made some splashes. Now the one thing they need to avoid is suffocating on their own drama with Landry and Odell in the building, and Baker Mayfield isn't exactly the most experienced, mature leader of the football team yet, but I think he'll get there at this point. I've said this is the one thing I have to say about a lot of people who've criticized me a lot, and as it turns out, righteously, because I had some criticism on Baker Mayfield, specifically character-wise. I had some red flags with him, off-field behavior when he came out of college, and people told me he's the real deal. He can make it happen. So far, and I said this before, if during the offseason I don't hear the name Baker Mayfield at all, that's the best-case scenario. And so far, I haven't heard his name this offseason, and that's great because that means he's not getting into trouble. And the only time I want to hear the name Baker Mayfield is during the season from now on. If you can make that happen.
Yeah, well, the only thing I've heard from him was the comments he made toward Duke Johnson, because Duke Johnson,
Right.
he's been vocal about wanting to be traded because
Yeah.
he knows, being behind Nick Chubb, who is my man, being a UGA fan. Nick Chubb is the truth, and Nick Chubb is an spectacular. I think he's going to be a generational talent at the running back position. But they also picked up Kareem Hunt. Given his off-field problems, he's not going to be able to play until after Game 8 this season. But we can't forget what he did over at the Chiefs. And Duke Johnson is the third man in this. And, he really felt left out. And he didn't see much playing time coming up for him. But, Baker Mayfield made the comments about, if you're not down with us, you can get out. And, it was completely
Which is not something you want to,
unprofessional.
that's not something you want to hear from a starting quarterback. Exactly.
Exactly.
what I'm saying, obviously. But that doesn't discredit Baker as being a good player. Of course,
Not
it's a
at
learning
all.
experience for sure. They knew he wasn't going to come in as leader. He wasn't going to come in Andrew Luck, who's going to step up
Yes.
as like a 21, 22-year-old and as a leader of men. But they're building the core around him that he needs right now. And if they can manage to do that and sustain that, I think the Browns are going places. And look at the rest of the division. Steelers getting actively worse. Bengals,
Yes.
still the Bengals. And the Ravens, Lamar Jackson is more of a question mark than most other quarterbacks in the league, actually, to me. And I haven't really seen them get too much better. Now, they still will be contesting for the division. I think they'll probably be the second best team, to be honest. I don't believe in the Steelers that much this year.
Yeah, well,
But,
the Steelers, given their dramas in the past few seasons, they did cut the two main players that were causing this drama, outside of Ben Roethlisberger, and you can say what you will about him, but who have they replaced them with? I mean, James Conner is great. I'll give him that. He is great, but he's more of a system running back. I mean, he is great because of the O-line that the Steelers put together, and
Exactly.
he's not Le'Veon Bell, that's for sure.
No, he's not. And, Juju is good, but having two of them is better. And, I think they've lost two very, very key players. And
They have.
we've seen last year how they were struggling at times, and Ben is, even though all the experience and leadership that he has, he's still very much an inconsistent guy. Like, he's the most frustrating player in fantasy football every year. I keep telling that to people. Like, one day he'll put up 500 yards, 6 touchdowns, and the other day he'll score you like -3 points. It happened to me once. It's crazy. So,
He'll give you
I'm
those
not
kind of
buying-
weeks.
I'm no longer buying the Steelers over a stacked Browns team with a stacked defense and Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, 3 starting caliber running backs.
Yes.
And a developing quarterback behind a good O-line. Browns, it's time to make stuff happen now.
I can't agree with you more.
Looking at the AFC South, and what is your opinion on that division?
Well, for years now, it's been the worst division in football. We can say what we will about the AFC East, but these guys have been year after year putting in 9-win, 8-win teams into the playoffs because it was the division that no one wanted to win. But the superstar is back after his long injury recovery. I'm going with the Colts. I'm going with Andrew Luck because I believe that Andrew Luck is a top 5 quarterback in this league.
That's literally what I was going to say. Top 5 quarterback. I'm also picking the Colts, by the way. Andrew Luck is fantastic. To me, he's one of the early MVP favorites. And the team around him is only getting better since he started being healthy. It's a similar situation as I'm looking at with the Browns and Jets. You got your guy in place. You know what he is. You know he's great. You know he'll win you games. And he's the best you can ask for. If he can stay healthy, which he has, you can build around him. Building a strong offensive line over there. Looking at defense now. You got slam dunk picks in Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard last year. And it elevated you to the playoffs. So cannot complain about that. I'm picking the Colts as well. Even though I like the Texans, I don't like them as much as the Colts. I think Colts will be one of the best teams in the league this year.
I agree. The Texans came in second for me in this division. You still have J.J. Watt there. You still have Jadeveon Clowney, as much as he's been outspoken about his situation. But, and Deshaun Watson is a great, great talent at quarterback. But I have to give it to the Colts. Yeah,
I got to see another season for Deshaun Watson, honestly, to be able to evaluate that. Andrew Luck is the best quarterback in that division.
Yes,
potentially one of the best. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the AFC, and I'm going with the Colts all the way here. And finally, looking at the West, who do you have?
The West. This may be where we differ here because the popular pick is the Chiefs, right? But I'm going with old man Phil and the Chargers because I still believe in Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is one of those. I mean, people compare him to a Matt Ryan, except older. But I look at him more as a Drew Brees. Phillip Rivers, he's one of the best game managers. He's really accurate. He has great receivers. He has one outstanding running back that you could compare to a Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon, and yeah, they were not far behind in that division last year against the Chiefs. So yeah, I'm going with the Chargers this year.
All right, so once again, thank you for making the entire argument for me. I don't have to add anything to that. I'm picking the Chargers as well. Have you taken a look at that Chargers defense recently?
Yes, they have gotten
Derwin James.
Yes,
you know exactly what you get out of your pass rush. This defense is looking good. Now,
they are.
They were. I'm gonna have to say this. They got exposed by the Patriots.
Oh, they did.
By the Patriots' run game in the playoffs. They did not stack up against that offensive line, and they ran it down their throats all day long.
They did.
And that's something you need to work on. But yeah, Phillip Rivers to me is great. That's something that I can definitely agree on. I think he's a definitely class above Matt Ryan. I put him more in a class with Drew Brees. He still doesn't have the ring, but other than that, if he wins a ring, to me, he's a Hall of Famer. And
yes.
If not, it's questionable. But
I think he's, even if he doesn't win the ring, he's still close to, he's right there on the periphery of being in the Hall of Fame. And there's a good chance. I mean, there's always people that don't win rings that make it into the Hall of Fame. There's there's QBs. Of course, you got to go with our Dolphins favorite from
Dan Marino.
Yes, Marino, of course.
For sure. So, but that's gonna be one of the interesting debates too. When that class comes around, those 5 years, and you're looking at Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers for the Hall.
Yeah,
it's a tough call.
Eli, it's weird because I see Phillip Rivers as a much better quarterback, but Eli has the rings, and he shut down the Patriots.
And he got the ring. Yeah. He got the rings against the Patriots twice. Exactly. He's the only guy to beat that defense in Super Bowls, except for Nick Foles.
That's definitely going to play into his run. For the Hall of Fame.
I'm pretty sure he'll make it to the Hall, even though quality wise he's not Phillip Rivers.
He's not at all.
So yeah, Chargers we agree on that as well. So far we agreed on every single pick. Is that correct?
Yes, and I think we're going to agree on our wild card slots for this one too. Considering
all right,
who
do you have? Who do you have for the wild card?
The Chiefs and the Texans.
Man, come on, really?
How can we agree this much, man? We're not going to have a debate here at all, are we?
I don't know. No, I was hoping for some debate to come. Maybe in the NFC. I think the NFC we might be able to get some because I got some dubious picks there. But AFC we did agree on. Sleeper pick for the AFC, maybe give me the Jets. I like the Jets.
Really?
I want the Jets to succeed. Yeah.
Okay, we might differ on
that. If it's not gonna be the Patriots, it's gonna be the Jets. And as a wild card slot, it's gonna be tough. I think the AFC West will most definitely send two teams to the playoffs.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
But I do like the Jets. Just got to see how their defense will stack up. So let's go to the NFC. Let's start in the East once again. Who do you have? I think we'll get some discussion points here.
Well, I am going with my man Carson Wentz and the Eagles.
No discussion there again.
Wow.
Okay, I kind of have one more hope. Yeah, I'm picking the Eagles too, man. I've seen a lot of people talk about the Cowboys, and I'm not buying the Cowboys.
I'm not either.
I haven't bought the Cowboys in a while.
I do like Dak Prescott, and I think he's gonna make improvements this year. I mean, he's been great, to be a lower round pick, and no one saw that coming when he took over for Tony Romo. No one expected them to go 12 wins that season, but.
Okay, yeah. He's good, right? He's good, but is he like the playoff run good? Is he like NFC Conference Championship good?
Well, the team depends on Ezekiel Elliott much more, so it may not be Dak that's holding that team together. It may be Zeke. So Yeah,
I think so.
I just see.
I mean, the defense is looking strong. Obviously, you got DeMarcus Lawrence. Defense is looking good. I like the Eagles still, though. I'm going to agree with you. I think Carson Wentz, once he's come back, he's an MVP candidate. He's going to pick up where he left off once the injury bug kind of gets off of him. And I think the Eagles Super Bowl window is very much still open.
Yes, I see a big bounce back for Carson Wentz this season.
All right, let's go to the NFC North then. This is kind of maybe this one we'll be able to find a disagreement here. So what do you got?
Well, I'm going with my man Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
All right, so finally we have some debate, right?
All right, let's do it.
All right, I know it's usually not considered smart to pick against Aaron Rodgers, but how bad does a team have to be for you to surround Aaron Rodgers with it? And you look at, a couple towns over, you got third-year guy Mitch Trubisky with a stacked defense, with better support all around him, only getting better.
Yes.
Like when is kind of the tipping point there? So I got the Chicago Bears. I'm going to have to tell you, I got the Bears to make the playoffs here. I got them beating the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers, as great as he is, he cannot do it all by himself. Give Aaron Rodgers a top 10 defense, he's making it to the Super Bowl most likely.
Yes, I agree.
Every single year. But he doesn't have that, and he hasn't had it in a while.
Well,
and I don't think the Packers team, if you remove Aaron Rodgers, is bottom 3 in the league.
I know that Matt LaFleur is unproven as a head coach, of course, because this will be his first season as a head coach.
Right.
But with Mike McCarthy gone, I see Aaron Rodgers basically taking this team over all to himself.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Aaron Rodgers has been in charge of the team way more than Mike McCarthy has been for a while. I like the change of head coach, don't get me wrong. I don't like, because it's kind of a rebuild situation, but you still have Aaron Rodgers in place. It's a weird thing because the team is terrible. I like the change they made. I love the LaFleur pick as a coach. By the way, I fully believe in him. He's descending from the same coaching tree as guys like Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, and everybody
Mike and Matt LaFleur.
Everybody wants a piece of Sean McVay these days.
Exactly. So I'm very much a believer and student of that specific system, which is West Coast derived system. So we've seen that light up the league and elevate players to new heights in several seasons before. I mean, you as a Falcons fan, you'll remember the Kyle Shanahan Falcons.
Oh, of course.
Offense.
Yeah.
The record-setting offense it's the same system. So the LaFleurs did work on under Shanahan and McVay, and came out of those same schools. So
now, if he can,
you got Aaron Rodgers to your disposal. You can do a lot of things, but not by surrounding him with college level talent.
Well, I'm hoping he can use Aaron Jones much more than McCarthy did. And Jamal Williams is a great running back, great blocking running back, which is underrated in this league because everybody wants to see the guy carry the ball. But Jamal Williams is great in helping out the O-line when he's out there.
I think we'll see a lot better play calling from the Packers for sure.
Yes.
But I'm gonna just give it to the Bears. I'm gonna give it to a top 10 defense. I'm gonna give it to yet again improved quarterback, and a franchise that seems to be in a more stable situation. How about the South? How are you looking at this?
I'm gonna be a homer, of course.
Oh man. Oh
no,
boy.
I mean, dude, like you have no idea. I hate the Saints. I hate the Saints.
That's problematic because I'm picking the Saints.
I bet you are. As most people will be. But I see a big bounce back for the Falcons, man. This is going to be a positive regression for them.
So, how do you envision that, though?
Well, now I think one key element in this is going to be getting Devontae Freeman back to where he was a couple of years ago. And, with Shanahan, like as you mentioned, we had the two running back system that worked out great for us here. And Matt Ryan, now this is a big point of debate, but Matt Ryan is elite, regardless of what people say. Matt Ryan.
I do like Matt Ryan. If there's a tier between good and elite, like a sub-elite sort of thing, I'll put him in there though. Because I'm not comfortable with setting him on the same stool as Rodgers and Breeze. But I also think he's better than your average off the road average guy.
Yeah.
He's not Andy Dalton. Remember the days, by the way, do you remember the days when Andy Dalton was viewed as the average of the NFL?
Yeah, he was people would the Andy Dalton line, yes.
Yeah, the Andy Dalton line. That used to be a thing. Now the Andy Dalton line is like 28 out of 32.
Yeah.
That's how much better the NFL is getting with quarterbacks. And
it is, yes.
And Matt Ryan is above average. Total elite, not to me. The guy very much down south in New Orleans is though, and I think he's still half of that for that MVP award. I know you don't want to hear it, but the Saints are going to be great.
I know they are, and it's just my homerism. I
understandable.
I hate the Saints, but I do see how great they are, and I see, they have Alvin Kamara, who is a generational talent in himself.
I covered him in a video. He's insane, yeah.
I loved him when he was at Tennessee, when he was beating my Bulldogs. But, Latavius Murray stepping in for Mark Ingram, do you think he's going to put out the production that Mark Ingram was capable of?
I don't personally think so, but it's gonna be close at least, and the Saints will still have a ground game as long as they have the potent passing attack that basically always forces two deep safeties, as long as they have a good offensive line blocking, and as long as they have the scheme fits. So,
yeah,
to me, the Saints might lose like a win or two from last season, but I still think they're gonna be competing. And consider the Panthers also not being terrible. It's gonna be a tough time for Atlanta to me. I can see them competing for a wild card for sure, at least until like week 14. Most things should still be open in the NFC. It's gonna be a close conference, but
as usual, they'll probably be the toughest division in football.
Yeah, I'll take the Saints to take it all. Now, here's my how about this one, man? My contender for the toughest division in football, the NFC West, to close it out. What is your pick here?
Now, this was really tough, man. I really had a hard time deciding. And it comes down to three teams for me. I mean, we can throw out the Cardinals because they're under a new system, and they were horrid last year. They were the worst team in football.
I think that's what it's going to stay.
So
if not the Bengals, Dolphins, the Cardinals again.
Yes. And these three teams, in my mind, are very, very close. And it's almost a coin flip between the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Niners. I'm going with the Seahawks because Russell Wilson is kind of like an Aaron Rodgers thing. No matter how bad the team is, he's still going to push that team to the playoffs. And
is he going to push it to the playoffs, though? Is he going to push it past the Rams and the Niners? Aaron Rodgers. See, when Aaron Rodgers was pushing to the playoffs, he was pushing past a below-average Bears team. He was pushing past the never-relevant Detroit Lions and kind of the purgatory Vikings. This is a tough division.
It is.
The Seahawks have not been getting better. They've been getting worse. Now you can think about DK Metcalf, what you want. But they're not the same Seahawks. They're not the same Seattle. And when the Seahawks used to be at their highest, the division was terrible.
Yeah. Well, there is a reason that Russell Wilson is the highest paid quarterback now.
He's great. Obviously, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
And we've seen of that team.
We've seen the Legion of Boom just fall apart from the inside, and I don't think there is one Legion of Boom member left on that team. But yet, they're still making it to the playoffs.
I'm gonna actually doubt that. I don't think the Seahawks are gonna see playoffs again. It's kind of the same situation it is for you. I do not like the Seahawks, but I don't. Objectively speaking, I don't think they're gonna make it. I know this is always tough to judge as a fan from an objective perspective, but right now, Seahawks versus Niners. Who, like, objectively, your objective? Who's winning that game?
Man, like I said, it's so close. I would say they split 1-1 this season.
They split 1-1?
Yeah. Because
they split 1-1, but they split 1-1 with Nick Mullins.
You're right. I see that. You are right. But man, the Niners are going to have to put something together. I mean, Kyle Shanahan is a phenomenal coach, but who is their number one receiver? Pettis? Is it Goodwin?
Probably Pat is probably Goodwin. I don't think they really have the number one. That's kind of the one spot in the Niners system that's still missing from recreating the Falcons. Is the Julio Jones kind of guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle Shanahan, he brought Aldrick Robinson with him. He brought Tevin Coleman in.
Yes.
He's got his guys.
Picked up Jerick McKinnon last season, even though he didn't get to play.
Running back core sneaky good. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo can play the Matt Ryan role. So
I agree. I do like Jimmy Garoppolo, but
he's got to stay healthy.
He's still unproven
like Carson Wentz
in the league. I mean, I know he had that win streak at the end of 2 seasons ago, but he's still unproven. Whereas Russell Wilson,
very much
has
to
proven
me, very
himself.
much Carson Wentz. Very much Carson Wentz. He needs to stay healthy.
Yes.
That being said, though, I actually have the Rams, by the way,
to
win the division.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm trusting him to make it happen for one more season. I know their time's running out. I got the Rams to win it. They're not as strong as they were last season, but last season they were superior, and I think they're still going to make it happen. As for the wild cards, I got the Panthers and Niners. So maybe that's a little bit of favoritism coming in there, but
I got the Rams.
Talking
and
about
Saints.
talking about the Niners again, you got two strengths. You got the offensive scheme, the play calling, with some really good weapons. Look at George Kittle, potentially best tight end in football.
Yes, I agree with
that. You got the best fullback in football, which not a lot of teams use a fullback, but Kyle Juszczyk is great.
Yes.
You got Jimmy Garoppolo with potential to be elite. We haven't seen it yet because he's been hurt. So if he stays healthy, there's a lot. The Niners have a very high ceiling, one of the highest ceilings in the league, but they also have a low floor.
Yes.
Due to all the injury concern, and as we've seen in the last couple of seasons, when all the key players start getting hurt, which seems to be a Bay Area thing. I don't know. We'll talk about the Warriors later, but Jesus Christ, when that happens, teams crumble.
Yeah,
and
it's like a curse.
Yeah, you can't start losing your starters. But look, I mean, I can't leave this show without talking about the 49ers defensive line or defensive front. DeForest Buckner, D Ford, and Nick Bosa.
Yeah, those were great.
And you got a series of 5'10", 5'11" quarterbacks running around trying to escape from that. You look at Kyler Murray going from the best offensive line in college football to the worst offensive line in the NFL.
Oh yeah,
facing guys like 6'7" Buckner, Bosa, D Ford, Aaron Donald. It's not gonna be pretty.
Well, It's not gonna be pretty. We're gonna find out how quick Kyler Murray is. Really quick.
He's gonna have to put the wheels to the test. He's got to be Russell Wilson day one, and if he's not, he's gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
I don't like the experiment, but we'll see.
So you don't like Kyler Murray at all, right?
I do not like Kyler Murray. No.
Okay.
I think he was vastly overrated. I don't think he has the physical tools.
I think the jury is still out on him. I mean, I saw what he did at Oklahoma, but then again, it may just be the system, because he's. Yeah, he was the second Heisman winner in a row from Oklahoma. Of course,
I think the problem is a lot of the problem has to do with quarterbacks being so inflated. Like when you get a class like this, and you look at it objectively, not treating quarterbacks differently as other players. There's not a quarterback in that class that should have gone in the first round. This was historically bad for a quarterback class, and when Justin Herbert didn't enter the draft, and compare that's always how it works. By the way, you get a phenomenal class, really like last year's class. You got Donald Rosen, all these guys, because whenever that happens, you got juniors coming out because they're so good. So the next year, you ain't got nobody, so the quarterback class is going to be bad. The next year's quarterback class will be pretty good. You're already looking at Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa. Those are potential first round picks.
Yeah,
Jake Fromm. And then you got Trevor Lawrence after that.
Oh,
so,
yeah, now that.
People are coming up.
Trevor Lawrence might just be the best quarterback to ever enter the NFL. If he continues on the trajectory that he's on.
He's good.
Yeah.
He is fantastic. Yeah.
Wow.
That's true.
I can't imagine.
I'm going to have to look at him against Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning sort of guys.
I think he's on that level. But of course,
coming out of college, obviously.
Yeah,
but we have a lot of time to evaluate that when that happens. But I don't like the Kyler Murray experiment. I don't think it's going to work. I think Josh Rosen is just a strictly better player.
Yeah.
And I don't like where the Cardinals are headed. But we'll have to see. So
yeah, we'll see what the Dolphins do with him.
What's your wild cards for the NFC real quick?
It is the Rams and the Saints. Now, I was very close to throwing the Cowboys, the Niners, the Bears, and the Vikings in there. And it was really hard to pick, but
we haven't mentioned the Vikings at all.
Oh, I know, and I still believe in Kirk Cousins, man. I don't think
I do to a degree.
He's not as bad as people are saying, man. I don't get it. But.
He's not, but he's also not like great. You know, he's average.
You see, I used to compare him to Matt Ryan when he was with the Redskins.
I don't think he is quite Matt Ryan.
I don't either, but I think he's kind of on that level. But
I'm pretty sure like the Andy Dalton line these days could be like the Kirk Cousins line.
Yeah, it could be now. And
Andy Dalton is, and once you got the next couple of years, you got Tua, you got Trevor Lawrence.
Oh man, I can't wait to see how.
It's in a few years we're not going to have a team with a back quarterback.
Exactly, everybody's going to have a franchise quarterback in the coming season.
Exciting times coming up, but
it is.
I think we covered this extensively. We need to get through some more topics, so let's hit the other ones as well. Number 2, we got the Oakland Raiders, which we haven't mentioned yet today. I think for good reason, because we were talking about winners and not the Raiders. Are going to be featured on this year's show of Hard Knocks.
Should
by
be
show
exciting.
of hands, yeah. Who's surprised? Yeah, me neither. So,
no.
I think that if it were possible, they would have gone to Cleveland again, just
of course.
For the hilarity. But we know that Hard Knocks is reality TV.
Yes.
In NFL, disguised as NFL form, we know that's what it is, and we also know that Hard Knocks isn't necessarily the best thing for productivity for a team. The Raiders, on the spiral that they're on, let me actually just read out a few names for you here. So, Richie Incognito, Antonio Brown, Vontez Burfict.
Yes.
You're spotting a pattern here. High character
personalities,
veterans.
Yes.
Right. Personalities and the high character veterans. Obviously,
you can't leave out that Derek Carr is a very emotional man.
And a very inconsistent man, both injury-wise and performance-wise.
MVP season at one point,
I think the Raiders are. I mean, they're a dumpster fire right now.
You think?
I don't see them go anywhere. I didn't like the Gruden hire. I didn't like the Marshawn Lynch kind of show off thing. I think that was not good value. I don't like what they're doing. They ship away Amari Cooper to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't. That's an enigma to me. How did they never utilize Amari Cooper in the years that he was there? Yet he goes to the Cowboys and he's a top 10 receiver.
Also, need I say Khalil Mack, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
The Raiders to me are. I mean, if they're moving to Vegas, they're a circus. The Raiders are a circus. It can't be any more. It can't be any more clear at this point. I have no expectations in terms of competitive football. I don't think John Gruden is fit to coach in the NFL anymore. Because here's the thing: we just talked about this. Shanahan, McVay, LaFleur, all these guys. What do? They do what John Gruden did 20 years ago, and they've developed it for 20 years.
Yes.
And you want to come around with Spider 2 White Banana in 2020? Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's not how it works anymore, because it's the same coaching tree essentially.
This is not the Bucks of 15 years ago.
But John Gruden, he learn from George Seifert himself or something. He's old school, okay? I get it, but stuff develops, and you saw it very clearly when the Raiders were playing the Niners last year. I mean, it was just a world of difference between two bottom teams even then. Struck by injury, but you saw just Kyle Shanahan literally being 20 years ahead of John Gruden, and that's not going to change. That's just what it is. I don't believe in anything that the Raiders are doing. I think they'll be perennially the worst team in football for a while because they got crazy contracts for John Gruden as well.
Yeah, the 10-year thing, that was a head scratcher to me because the NFL has clearly moved to a vertical offense. And John Gruden, he's not with that. And, I could not believe it when they said 10 years.
He's 2 generations behind.
10 years? Like, you're really going to give him 10 years to prove himself? I mean,
he's 2 generations behind. And compare that to kind of a opposite there, Andy Reid. Mm-hmm. You got a guy who's been in the league for a while. Also, similar coaching tree, similar heritage, similar system. developing his stuff.
Andy Reid is Belichick without the rings, in my opinion.
He's a good coach, and he'll get there. Offensive mastermind, similar to Shanahan, similar to McVay, but he's keeping up with the times. He's an old school coach. Don't get me wrong. He's been around.
Oh yeah, of course.
But he's keeping up with the times.
He wins.
Yeah, and so is Belichick is the greatest defensive head coach in the history of the NFL.
Of course,
he is everything to that franchise.
I don't think we can doubt that at all.
It's crazy. You might not want to hear it. You might not like him, but he's the best, and he will probably be the best head coach until the day he retires.
As much as Pete Carroll doesn't like that.
Yeah, as much as I don't like Pete Carroll, also that's another thing. That's another thing. Pete Carroll, as opposed to Bill Belichick, does not build stuff to last. Mm-hmm. Let me remind you of the USC debacle. Let me remind you of the Legion of Boom is going down. Pete Carroll. He can build you up for 5, 6, 7 years maybe.
Yeah.
But he's never going to coach a 20-year dynasty. He's not Belichick.
Well, obviously his defensive stars didn't like him enough to stick around, so.
Yeah. And it's a completely different culture. Like the culture between Seattle and New England couldn't be any more different. In Seattle, you got the outspoken, player oriented. People can say what they want. In New England, if you step out of line, like you take a wrong step at practice, you're off the team.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He's not having anything. That's why you don't hear drama coming out of New England. And if you do,
and he's not above.
It's a problem.
Yeah, he's not above tearing down Tom Brady and Gronk, even press conferences outbursts,
Yeah, people are replaceable, and that's what makes that scheme so consistent, though. Like
next man up.
Yeah, it's crazy. So concluding on the Raiders, I don't see them going anywhere. This is a circus more than a football team at this point to me, and people are going to be enjoying the TV crews and hogging the cameras, and AB's going to get more following on social media. He's going to be happy about that because he's basically LeBron moving to the Lakers, but without any competitive intent anymore, to me.
Even though there's the Hard Knocks curse, do we not every year come out of Hard Knocks thinking, wow, this team's going to the playoffs this year?
Oh yeah, for sure. But that's how TV works. Like you can look at the press conferences and minicamp of any team on YouTube, you think they win the Super Bowl.
Oh, of course.
That's how it always works, because you just got to listen to the correct sources if you want to hear stuff.
Now, before we get off this topic, how do you feel that Bruce Arians is going to do down with the Bucs?
I'm not so sure about this team in general. I think we're potentially looking at one of the next 2 year, top pick quarterback sort of situations.
Yeah, I was wondering how many years.
And pretty much a rebuild. Jameis got one more to me. Like
I thought maybe last year was it, but
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, but then you're like, oh, you spent the first overall pick on him.
Yeah.
And he's famous Jameis, so you got to give him another one. But this has to be the last one. Same for Marcus Mariota, by the way. That draft not looking so hot in hindsight with the quarterbacks.
I thought Marcus Mariota was the next big thing when he came out in his debut game, rookie season, threw the 4 touchdowns in the opening, and I was like, wow, this guy is going to be the truth. But he just, not to mention the injuries, but he just hasn't had it. Kind of feel bad for the guy. Judging a
quarterback after this first season is flipping a coin. I've completely gone away from that. I still look at what I've seen in 2-3 years of college, and of course I factor in what I've seen. But 1 year is not enough for me to evaluate a quarterback. I need 3 years.
Well,
to really say what's going on.
The majority of the league didn't give Rosen that. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. But like a guy like Deshaun Watson, I don't know where to put him.
Yeah.
No clue. And maybe after the season I will, but I don't know. So I wanted to do a transition there, but we kind of got back to the Bucs there. Sorry. I mentioned the keyword Lakers. Yeah, I mentioned the LeBron Lakers thing.
Yes.
We're gonna get into the smaller topics at the side now. Got 3 more because. Basketball free agency, obviously, with the NBA draft and that stuff is picking up. So Anthony Davis, the big headline, traded to the Lakers for the house, like for everything.
This is almost like the big trade back in the day.
You thinking Herschel Walker?
Herschel Walker, yeah. My mind went blank for a second there.
Yeah.
The Herschel Walker trade, yeah. Does this not remind you of that?
And that worked out pretty well for the Cowboys, if I remember correctly.
The Cowboys,
that built an early 90s dynasty.
Well, and
so
I think
if
Herschel
Pelicans,
was on the back nine of his career at that point as well.
Yeah, and also, it's in basketball, it's a different thing as it is in football, obviously, because you're playing five guys. You got LeBron, you got AD on your team. Two teams going in two very different directions. This is why it makes it so hard to evaluate this trade. Who lost it? Who won it? Anthony Davis won. I know that much.
Obviously,
like, AD is the winner of this trade, and so is LeBron. Are the Lakers the winner for the next 2 years? Yeah, probably. Are the Pelicans? Well, like after that, maybe. Yeah. So one point I'm gonna definitely stress is they kept Kyle Kuzma.
Yes,
and that's a big one.
Yeah,
because he was arguably the best of the bunch that was debated about being traded.
Yes, the way I see it is to be a real dynasty in the NBA, you have to have your trio of superstars. Because
at this point you need three.
Yes, we rarely see a winning team without that trio. And is Kuzma going to be that third, or are we looking at picking up a Kyrie Irving or something?
That's what going to be the next thing. Who's the starting point guard for the Lakers right now? No one, right?
Exactly.
LeVar Ball is going to come back or something. I don't know. They need to sign some people, and they have like two options for me there as I'm looking at it. Get another star, pay him close to or max, and tank your bench and everything else and go all out.
Yeah.
Like even more extreme than we have seen the Warriors do.
Yeah.
And the other option is Kyle Kuzma as your number 3 star. You're going to rely on James's ability to make plays, to spread the ball around, and Anthony Davis being able to make shots, and Kyle Kuzma kind of as your closer, which I'm not sure if that's going to work out, but that's the other option. You got to pick up some support guys and build a stronger foundation for that team, relying on mainly those two guys, and Kyle Kuzma as your number 3.
Well,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
Do you think Rajon Rondo is coming back?
I'm not so sure. I've actually picked up a couple of guys that I wanted to talk about specifically for that spot.
Okay.
In LA, because you got to be thinking win now. Like this trade leaves no doubt. The Lakers are trying to win the title next year and the year after. They're in win now mode. It's going to be solid because the championship window is equivalent to LeBron James's career. Like once he's done, you're done.
Yes.
For that part at least. So, and then of course you're building around AD. He's 26 years old. He's got most of his career ahead of him.
Yes.
But the Lakers are very much in win now mode.
Yeah, of course, because some of these picks that were traded off will be after the contract is ended for LeBron.
Exactly. So
they're
a couple of people I wrote down. You already dropped the name Kyrie Irving. I know you couldn't resist it too.
Of course, that's the big name floating around right now.
I don't think so, man. I don't think this is gonna happen. When Kyrie left LeBron in Cleveland, it was specifically, I don't want to be in LeBron's shadow. I want to do it by myself.
Exactly.
I want my own team. And now
that worked out for him?
Yeah, if you're Kyrie, are you gonna come and crawl back to LeBron and say the Celtics experiment didn't work? Let's team up again? I don't think so. I don't think Kyrie's the type of person to do that. So I'm not seeing him showing up anywhere near the Lakers. I think he's going somewhere else. Another guy I was thinking about, which would be pretty big shot, at least for city competition, Patrick Beverley. Important piece to what the Clippers are doing, and with the Clippers you're looking at potentially big spending spree. You got Kawhi, you got Kevin Durant being associated with that team, and losing Patrick Beverley to the Lakers of all teams would be a pretty big hit, because if you're trying to build something there, you definitely want to keep that guy around. Ricky Rubio is another guy I've been thinking about for Utah, because Utah isn't really going places, and he's a solid enough guy. Mm-hmm. The really big name, I'm not sure. You can talk about Derrick Rose, but Kyrie is. I don't think it's gonna be Kyrie, honestly. And a lot of what they're gonna be doing is dependent on how the Warriors situation turns out, in my opinion, because obviously you're competing for that conference, and who are you looking at as your main competitors? The Clippers, depending on their free agency outcome.
Yeah.
The Rockets,
The
maybe
Nuggets,
if that group stays together. And you got to kind of consider the Warriors with all the injuries that's been happening.
Well, yeah, you can't
and we're going to be
count 'em
talking about the Warriors later, and probably getting back to that conference. So let's look at the Pelicans real quick, because they're obviously on the other side of that trade. How do you like their situation?
Well, the way I see it, they got Lonzo Ball now, but other than that, I mean, their superstar is Zion, of course.
Yeah, who we are recording this podcast like a night before the NBA draft.
Yes.
I think we're Nostradamus enough to know that Zion Williamson is going to be a New Orleans Pelican.
Yes, I believe so. But that's
now, the question to them is like, is Zion Anthony Davis in 3 years? Is he going to be on that level? And if yes, I mean, you win.
Well, the buzz around him during the draft last season says yes. But
it does say yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I still think they need that third player. If he's got to have some support if he's going to be the next Anthony Davis.
For sure. I think the Pelicans they're building for the future. That's very clear. They got loads and loads of capital. 3 first-round picks, including this year's 4th. We'll see if they trade that for a established player or actually use that pick and make it. But yeah, the Pelicans are looking to the future. Yeah. The Lakers are looking to win on the spot.
Yes.
And then we can kind of transition that into now the Warrior discussion, include that team and the Western Conference as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So, are the Warriors still the best team in the Western Conference next year?
Man, with the Durant loss, whew. Of course, he was going to be a free agent this season.
Yeah, I don't think the Durant situation to the Warriors is as big of a thing as you would think it is. Because what are the chances? Even if he didn't get hurt, what is the chances that he's still playing in Golden State next year? Like, not very high.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
He wasn't gonna stay. He wasn't gonna stay.
You don't think they could have worked something out?
I don't think so, because you gotta pay Klay Thompson the max deal first of all.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
So if you want, and he's sitting there obviously with a torn ACL, so he's not going to be there for the majority of the regular season.
Well, we have Draymond Green.
You got Draymond, you got Steph, you got hopefully a healthy Boogie Cousins, you got hopefully healthy Iguodala, which is still a fantastic team, mind you. That's still 3 superstars.
Yeah.
If you manage to bring Klay back,
yeah, that's going to be the big question there.
That's gonna be the big one. You gotta stay healthy. I think they're gonna try and keep Klay in town for sure.
Yeah,
now he is injured, which should give some kind of leverage to the team. Ironically enough, because Klay, looking at the open market, he's not gonna play for the most part of the regular season. If you look at a team that might need him to play in order to even make the playoffs, like if you're looking at the Clippers, for example, it's not that good of a situation for him to be in. I think the best situation for him is to be with Steph Curry in Golden State for sure. And if he can be back fully healthy for the playoffs, I still think that team is gonna be contending. Now the Lakers, we mentioned that they have good chances too. That's one of my. I think the Lakers right now have the best odds to actually win the title next year.
Yeah, I'm sure Vegas has them right up there after this move.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a little bit of a buzz move as well.
Yeah. Well,
other than that, you look at Houston. Yeah, go on.
They're also going to have to work on this Draymond extension.
Yes,
which
that's true. Because he's gonna want some money. Mm-hmm. He's gonna want some money for sure. And the other team I've been looking at again, the Clippers. So far, not that much going on, but you have a lot of names associated with them. Now, of course, Kevin Durant, he's gonna be out for basically the entirety of the next season.
Yes.
So even if he goes to the Clippers, he's not gonna make an impact that season, basically. And the other big question mark kind of in this free agency is Kawhi Leonard. So yes. Where's he ending up? Finals MVP.
Well, they floated the name around him going to the Lakers also.
I don't buy that.
No, not at all. I can't see that.
I don't think the league would allow that at that point. That's insanity.
That's stacking right there.
if I can see him go to LA, but it's going to be the Clippers if he does mostly.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Would the salary cap even allow it?
I don't know. Depending on how much of the luxury tax you're willing to pay at that point. I mean, the Warriors have been paying a lot of people as well. but I don't see him. I don't see him joining the Lakers. Honestly, I think the Lakers are going to get a solid point guard. Try to fill those open spots because their roster is pretty thin. They got the big names,
yes,
and Kyle Kuzma,
but no bench.
But the roster's pretty thin. No, and you are one injury away,
yes,
from being irrelevant again. So
yeah.
No bench, and that's kind of what's been bugging the Warriors. Actually, no bench. They've been tanking bench for probably the best starting five in NBA history. They've been tanking bench, and that comes to bite you when both Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant get hurt, and everyone else is playing at 70%, which we've seen. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest here. I'm a Warriors fan, but I'm still gonna I gotta admit this anyway. Being objective. Even if they won Game 6, there was no way they're winning Game 7. Without Klay,
no.
There's no way they're winning Game 7. There was no chance. When Klay went out, there's no way they're winning this series. They're too hurt. They're too injured. Bogey's playing 70%. Iguodala, Kevon Looney, everyone's playing at 70, 60, 70%.
Yes.
No way they're beating that Raptors team.
Steph Curry can't do it by himself.
Can't do it all by himself. And Kawhi Leonard, his health seemed to get better and better over the progress of the playoffs, which just obviously worked out pretty well for the Raptors.
Oh,
so,
of course.
Is he gonna stay in Toronto with not necessarily the biggest market, but a market that loves him, or is he gonna take his chance with another team? Because the thing though that you got to be thinking for Kawhi is, when is he getting paid? Like, he bouncing around from team to team every other year. He taking pay cuts every time. So if he went to another team this year, he'd have lost out on like $80 million in total from the whole Spurs to Raptors and then going on operation. So that's a lot of money. Yeah. And given your injury situation, you don't know if you're going to be playing for 10 years.
Yeah, of course. I think with the championship on their back, though, they're going to try everything they can to keep Kawhi.
Oh, they will for sure. The city of Toronto is going to do that. But if Kawhi is about that life, remains to be seen. And what's your most likely destination for Kyrie, though? Real quick, let me hear that.
Man, that's really tough. I don't know who.
I really can't see him moving to the West Coast. I think he's gonna go to a New York team. He's gonna stay on the East Coast.
I wouldn't mind seeing him show up
and try his luck
for the Hawks.
All right. Oh, the so relevant Hawks,
this, man.
Yeah. How could I forget them? And one last note, maybe Houston Rockets seem to have not been talked about that much, but the unit seems to be staying together for the most part. You got the key players also played as is part for the Raptors, except for Kawhi Leonard, and I believe Danny Green is a free agent for the Raptors, but the Houston Rockets as well. You still see them as relevant, contending for the title or for the conference at least.
Who was that? Sorry, you cut off for a second.
The Rockets.
The Houston Rockets. Yeah, I mean, well, they weren't far out of it this season. I can see them definitely being contenders.
I'm generally I'm like, in my free time, I'm president of the James Harden is overrated club, and there's a couple of other people who are also included in that. I really don't like this organization. I think it's an annoying organization to watch. They'll be pretty good, and if they can stick together, they'll probably perform to the same degree that they have been. But the West's only getting stronger.
It is.
And
it's extremely strong.
Are they beating, like, is James Harden beating LeBron and Anthony Davis?
No, not at all.
Mm-mm. Is he beating Steph, Boogie Cousins, and Klay? Not so far.
Yeah, no.
And Draymond Green on top of that. Yeah. So I don't think the Rockets will necessarily be huge, but just give me your finals matchup for next year. Just throw a prediction out there, because that's what we're doing today.
I want to say the Warriors and the Lakers.
Well, they're both in the West. That doesn't work.
Oh, I thought you were talking about for the West.
No, I mean the finals, the NBA finals, and in the West, I can see that. That would be. I'd watch that. I'm gonna watch it for sure. But that would be fantastic. But for the finals, so
all right. Well,
we don't talk about the Eastern Conference
as much as I want to say the Warriors are gonna hang in there. Man, if the Lakers pull this off, they're gonna be in the finals next year. And,
probably.
And as long as the Raptors keep Kawhi, why not the Raptors? Again.
Yeah, they're not going to get worse. That's for sure. They're not going to get worse. They'll lose Danny Green, probably. Maybe not even that. Mm-hmm. You still got to also be thinking Milwaukee, though. I mean, Milwaukee was good.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to beat the Raptors. They thought they were going to beat the Raptors. I mean, they were up 2 games on the Raptors.
Yes.
And they didn't finish, obviously.
Yeah.
But they got probably the MVP of the league on their team, Giannis. Mm-hmm. I think he's gonna win that award. The Celtics are pretty much out of it for me for now. Kyrie's going to be gone, and that experiment kind of failed.
Yep.
And other than that, the East is still wide open. It is, yeah. By far
it's so
the worst
hard
conference.
To predict the East.
It's still the Eastern Conference, as people like to say.
Yeah. Kind of like the AFC over in the NFL.
Yeah, the AFC least. Yeah. That's true. West Coast teams making it happen these days. Speaking of West Coast teams, let's get into the 5th topic. I kind of spoiled what I'm going to say here. That was not smart. We're doing this quickly, and because we don't want to waste too much time, and this is obviously not a baseball channel, but it's kind of the only sport that's really still going on.
Yes.
So we gotta have to drop a pick on our first podcast. Just it's way too early, obviously, but give me your best shot. Who you got?
All right, I'm gonna give you the 2 that I think and the 2 that I want.
Okay.
So what I'm seeing,
you probably want Atlanta.
Of course, I want to see the Braves versus Twins. I want to see that 1991 rematch.
All right.
Which that's not far out of the realm of possibility right now. I mean, you have the Braves sitting at 42-30 right now, with a 9-1 in the last 10. So.
Yeah, I mean they're not awful.
They've been on fire the past few games. I mean, but what is probably going to happen, the way I see it, Dodgers, Astros.
Astros over Red Sox is interesting to me.
Yeah.
I think isn't Boston still favored or something?
Are they? Because the Yankees are leading that division.
The Yankees are leading that division. That's correct.
I
mean, the Astros are just as solid.
The Rays are over the Red Sox right now.
Yeah, that's true. They're a solid.
But then again, the Red Sox come back at the end. You got to go with Dodgers.
I'm picking. I don't know how this happened, but I also am picking the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I for sure thought we'd have a disagreement here, but.
Of course.
Yeah,
what I want to see is the Braves win.
Well, what I want to see is the Giants win, but that's not going to happen this year. They're terrible.
Yeah.
Give me the Dodgers. I mean, Hyunjin Ryu leads the league in ERA with a 1.26 right now at the point of recording. Number 2 pitcher in the league has a 2.12. And Ryu has more innings pitched than the top 5 on that list. So, you got Cody Bellinger just hitting his top talent, hitting the best phase of his career, potentially, right now with a breakout hitting season. Can't be stopped. I do like the Dodgers for sure, if they stay healthy throughout the playoffs. Now, going into the season, we've debated a lot about Clayton Kershaw and his injury problems. He's got all that experience on the back for sure, but he's also got some injuries on the back, and I mean literally. So we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see if the depth works out, which they used to praise. I mean, that used to be that mantra, depth. Next man up, kind of the Bill Belichick sort of situation. That's what the Dodgers were known for, and they came close twice, and I believe this year should be the year. Mm-hmm. If it's gonna be it, that's gonna be the year. I have them over the Red Sox in the World Series.
Yes.
But I see the East as being wide open for sure. I mean, I can see the Sox. I can see the Yankees. Unfortunately, there's a lot of teams that that means a lot of teams there. You spoke about Atlanta potentially being good.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's very early.
They just have to keep fending off the Phillies, of course, as usual.
Oh yeah, that's true. We haven't talked about Philadelphia much today. We didn't bring up the Sixers much, but we're gonna have more opportunities to do all that in future podcasts. I think we're gonna cut the show at this point, man. It's been a pleasure to have you,
yes, sir.
And we're gonna repeat this. Hopefully, if we can make it happen on a weekly basis, as long as there's sports to talk about.
Yes.
I think we should do this one thing. I don't know about you. I'm not a hockey guy. but congrats to the Blues.
Yeah.
For winning a Stanley Cup. You beat a Boston team in sports. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
But that's about all I can say. Like, I watch like 4 hockey games a year.
Yeah.
And it's when the Sharks play in the playoffs. And other than that, I'm not necessarily
I'm with you on that.
a guy for that sport.
My hockey knowledge is very limited, so.
Yeah, gotta mention that though. So we'll be back as soon as possible with this podcast. We're gonna be talking about football for the most part.
Yes.
But if there's interesting stuff to talk about, for sure we'll cover it too.
Hey, if you ever want to throw in some MMA into this too, I'm down.
Oh man, you're gonna have to make that segment by yourself. I'm not very knowledgeable on that, so
I get it.
Depending on if we really needed topics, we can do that for sure.
Yeah, sure.
If we ever get like Khabib and Conor McGregor #2, I'll be down for that.
We could. Tony Ferguson is on to come up.
Yeah. So if you want to come up with something there, I can read into it, and maybe we'll have a side topic there. But
sure.
That's enough for today. So thank you to everyone watching first episode of the Scoreboard. Very important to us right now will be some feedback from the viewers, which is you behind your keyboard or your phone screen, letting us know what do you think about this show. Was it entertaining? I hope it was. It was entertaining for me to do it, and I hope it was for you, Smokey.
Oh, it very much was. Don't forget, this is the first episode, and we will improve throughout.
We are gonna improve throughout. Yeah, we with everything surrounding this, we're gonna get better.
Yes.
Be sure to, if you're watching this on my channel on Beyond Football, go check out what Smokey and his boy Hollywood are doing over there at the Trash Talkers channel. It's fantastic. If you wanna be entertained from top to bottom, left to right, and center, all in between, about you got storytelling, you got podcasts. It's a fun atmosphere, and you definitely got to check out what they're doing. You've just seen the surface there.
Yes.
And if you're over there, watching from their channel, go ahead. You want to do it?
I was going to say, if you like a good mix of esoteric topics and comedy, check us out.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. They can go from talking about aliens,
yes,
right to comparing American to German laws
exactly.
in one breath. It's fantastic. it's fantastic. So very much versatility. Of course, if you're a viewer of Trash Talkers, and you've been watching it on their channel, and you are a sports interested person, I'd appreciate it if you check my channel out. I'm sure they're gonna link it. It's Beyond Football. You can find that by searching too. I usually, as the name would suggest, cover football. I'm an analyst, kind of football focused, but sports analyst.
Mm-hmm.
I do analysis videos on several players that I deem worthy of having an analysis video done. I'm very slightly biased to the 49ers, but I will cover other teams. I have done so in the past, and looking forward to a pretty good NFL season this year.
And Alex has done
with
excellent
a lot of
work on that channel.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun, and I really like this series. I like the podcast style. I've had somewhat of a similar thing going on when we did predictions. I had someone I would do predictions with every week for last season. That was a fun series to do, and I'm definitely looking forward to this. And if we keep this going, we might just do that for next season. So also, I know you're a big fantasy guy, big fantasy football guy.
Yes, that's my main area of expertise.
Probably much more so than me. So if you ever want to contribute with that, because I think the overlap of interest would be pretty high. So if there's interest there,
yes,
Smokey's your man. So put it in the comments. Let us hear if you're interested in some of that, and I'm sure Smokey will be willing to get you some advice videos going, and
definitely
we'll be uploading them
I
to
can
both
definitely
channels,
offer advice. That's one of the things that I do. I offer advice to beginners for fantasy football, and my systems are proven, and I can show you the stats, but we won't get into that right now. But also, guys,
it's a bit too early. It's a bit too early for that.
Check out the Trash Can TV also. I don't think you've mentioned that yet.
I have not mentioned that. That is my sort of leisure channel, along with my homie JJ. We're playing some games. It's a gaming channel. We also do talk about podcast topics, though, and often enough, we are actually talking to Smokey. So that's how we actually know each other, and came to work together. So it's been great working with you.
Yes, sir.
Definitely two great franchises on the rise for sure.
Yes, sir.
Trash Talk all the way.
We're gonna take over YouTube together.
Yeah, we're making it happen. Appreciate having you, and we'll be back. Hopefully next week with some more sports topics. Let us know your opinions in the comments. What do you think about the Lakers situation? Give me your NFL predictions. and of course the Raiders on Hard Knocks. Are you looking forward to it? I am. I'm sure going to watch it, and I'm going to enjoy it, but not for the reasons that the showmakers intended to be enjoyed. So,
yes,
we're going to get out of here. It's been a long show.
Yes.
What are you saying? Closing thoughts?
Oh, I was just going to say, if there's any fantasy football questions, please drop them in the comments, and I will respond to them.
Drop them in the comments. Smokey's your man. So, thank you for watching once again. Drop a like. Subscribe to all the channels mentioned above or below in the description. And we're going to see you in the next episode.
It's been great.